Hello, I am your host, Felipe Bautista, and welcome to Education Reimagined. Today, we have something very special for you. Dr. Zhao and I are actually in the same place, and that place is Mexico City. 7 wonderful teachers from Miami Country Day School were invited with us to spend a couple days in Mexico. For this episode, we have taken these great teachers out of their comfort zone of their classrooms and are spending a few days here to expand their horizons and hope that they can get inspired and bring new ways of thinking back to their own class and students. Dr. Zhao, describe this whole idea. Tell our listeners what we're doing here and what you hope to accomplish.
Well, thank you, Felipe. It's so great to see you and being in the same place. And Mexico City, it's beautiful. The Great Pyramids. I think, the big thing is that education, when you think about your title, is called Education Reimagined. We cannot reimagine education in the same school, the same classroom. We have to take teachers, students outside. Education is much more than schooling. It's much more than what you learn, you teach in the classroom. Education is about the growth of people. Education is not instruction. So I hope this trip take our teachers and educators and students and also to outside to the real world so they can understand what our children will be are experiencing outside the isolated classroom.
Okay, awesome. Now, let's hear from some of our participants. Our teacher, Mrs. Terry Brose, was the person who envisioned and coordinated this whole trip. How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I had several experiences where I was given the opportunity to go outside of the classroom and explore business and culture. And I was able to think about it from the perspective of a teacher and bringing those experiences back to my class, as well as understanding how those experiences impact children when they take those trips themselves. I also got a chance to see how the inside of a business works, where people work together, and the different kinds of skills they need to bring together. So it was really eye-opening for me to see from the inside out and be able to see what I needed to bring back into my classroom and cultivate in my classroom. And I thought that if this had such a great impact on me, how it could impact other teachers in their thinking. And so I thought it would be great to take a group of teachers out. And it's been really rewarding so far to listen to different teachers' perspectives on this experience and what they're seeing, how it applies to them as learners and how it applies to them as teachers, and helping children develop into their full potential.
Thank you so much. Here I am with the lower school director, Mrs. Knight. How are you today?
I'm well, Felipe. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So, what were you looking for? What were you looking forward to most on this trip?
The gathering of people, some of whom I know well, some of whom I don't know very well, some of whom have very different backgrounds to me, and also looking for ideas. And I often find that my most creative ideas come expected areas, and it's usually the crossing over of conversations that spark an idea for me. So for example, just the bus ride here, listening to the conversation of the interview with Dr. Zhao by the two filmmakers, caused me to really think deeply about what is education and why are we in this business of schooling children.
So, what do you think? You could be some very good takeaways from this trip?
Well, I'll be honest, right now, a huge takeaway for me as a school, we're always thinking about security. Here I am in the heart of a security-intense plant, and I'm seeing things for the first time that I had no idea existed.
Thank you so much. Here I am with the assistant partner teacher, Mr. Macmillan. How are you today?
I am great.
Very well. I understand this is your first time out of the country, right?
Yes, it is.
How does it feel to be in a new country? What's the experience?
It was amazing. The first thing I noticed outside of the airport was just the color of the houses, the vibrancy of the city. It was really alive. And it's just a completely new, similar experience to the city back home, but very new. Learning everything. So it's great.
I see. So, what do you think could be some very big takeaways from this trip?
Definitely seeing a new culture, seeing a new way of doing things, learning how the locals, conduct their day-to-day lives, and just seeing how we can bring maybe some of Mexico over to the States and see if it can make us better.
I see. Well, ever so kind. Thank you so much. And here I am with Mrs. Robert. She is the department chair for math, technology, and science. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Awesome. So, what are your main takeaways from this trip?
One of the main takeaways is how similar people are across all continents and across time zones, at time periods. You know, everybody has their unique flavor and characteristic and culture, and those distinctions make the world a unique and interesting place. But humans are humans across time and across the world.
I see. So, how will you take what you have learned here in this trip and apply it to your work?
So I think there's some ways that I have plans to apply it. The best things I think that are going to happen are going to just naturally happen. They're unintended consequences from having this type of experience.
How do you think you can describe Mexico?
I think it's vibrant. Each of the places that we've gone to and even the meals that we've had, there's warm personalities and a very friendly disposition of people, and the food, the colors, and the culture is just very vibrant.
I see. Well, ever so kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here I am with Miss Aronson. She is the high school science teacher. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's nice to see you again, Felipe.
Very nice. So, how do you think you can take what you have seen here and experienced here and apply that to your teaching back in Miami?
I think there's a few things. I think one, the idea of bringing in other cultures, bringing in technology into what they're doing. And I think in my chemistry classes, I see an amazing opportunity for them to see how the basics of chemistry are being used in such a high-tech area, and being able to also, like some of the innovation I've seen here, kind of think out of the box and take things on a different level. And I think for my physics students or my engineering design students, I'm thinking, how are you really processing what you're learning and thinking how you can take that information and do something different with it, reinvent, recreate.
I see. Ever so kind, Ms. Aronson. Thank you so much.
You're very
Have
welcome.
a wonderful rest of your day. This is Rungi, the upper school art teacher. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome. So, what have you seen or learned here in Mexico that you think you can apply to your teaching back in the classroom?
Well, one thing that has definitely happened is I've been really excited about learning more about art. And I'm going to go out into Miami, and I'm definitely going to go into more museums, and hopefully I can bring kids with me. That would be nice.
I see. So, how do you think this trip is not just important for the students, not just important for the teachers, as for the students?
Well, if we're excited about learning, I think that's going to translate directly to the kids' excitement. So I'm really excited about learning, about going into the pyramids. We did so much yesterday that I haven't even finished reflecting on it. So I'll be writing about this experience for weeks and making art about it, and the kids are going to get to see that.
Awesome. Thank you so kind. Thank you so much.
All right.
Dr. Zhao, it has been a real pleasure and a privilege getting to know you a little better, and being on this trip to Mexico together.
Thank you, Felipe. It's so great to be here. Such an honor to see the history, the culture, but also interacting with you and your teachers.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Zhao. And thank you guys for tuning in to Education Reimagined. This is Felipe Bautista with Dr. Yong Zhao reporting from Mexico, and I say goodbye to you all. Education Reimagined was produced in Miami Country Day School, Miami, Florida. Edited by me, Felipe Bautista, with help from my teacher, Miss Karen Davis, and Dr. Yong Zhao. Stay tuned next time for more Education Reimagined.